All right, well, good afternoon. Just first want to start off and talk about the rookie orientation camp that we're having. It's been extremely productive couple days here. The rookies will conclude tonight, and then we felt it was important for them to be home for Mother's Day, and then we'll start with those guys with our veterans on Monday. But very pleased with the amount of work, the quality of work that we've been able to accomplish with these young men. We've taken a very slow approach. I've gone to this format probably the last 10, 12 years, and it just gives a chance to get everybody acclimated and have clear understanding of the expectation of just how we operate here with the Steelers. And it's also been good for us as coaches because obviously this is our first year. But they're obviously here because of what they've shown in their college careers. So we're very pleased with everything they've done as far as their physical gifts. But so far they've passed the mental challenge that we've thrown in front of them. So that's it's been an impressive couple days. We've had two practices to evaluate, but the classroom and the communication and the interaction has I've been very impressed with. So that's what we've been doing. So with that, I'll take your questions.
Mike, you saw Drew on the football field for the first time.
Mm-hmm.
Just what are you looking for when what are you evaluating when you see him out there? What did you see?
I think he's the perfect description of what I've just said. He's physically gifted. He's a gifted thrower of the football. But he's no different than any other young quarterback that I've had the opportunity to work with. I mean, everybody teaches footwork a little differently. Everybody has a system of offense and how you tie your quarterback, particularly in the pass game, to that. So there's a lot of work there. We're able to just adjust some fundamentals that we think will help him. I think a big part of quarterback play is understanding the profile of the individual. They're all built a little differently. Some guys are higher cut than others. So it was great to get him on film. Frankly, the first thing that we did with Drew, and just no different than we did with Will and Mason, we have a profile tape, so we were able to do that yesterday, evaluate that, and tried some things today that he responded to very favorable. So he made a very good first impression.
What were your first impressions of both Max and Jennings?
Excellent. Obviously, they're definitely look like Pittsburgh Steelers linemen. I think just when you look for young men that definitely have the anchor to play the style of football that we want to play. There's huge emphasis and focal point on the O&D line here. As far as how we want this team to look and play, and those guys fit right in.
Given the reps that might be available at wide receiver, what are you picking up from Bernard as to how he's picking up the offense and how much you can throw at him quickly?
I think that's a question probably a little further down the line when we get into OTAs. This is rookie orientation. As you see, we went to the team drills. We wanted to go full speed as far as how we line up and how we communicate, how we shift in motion, but we were blowing the whistle really quick there. We just wanted to get the communication, everybody to fit, and no different the routes. So, but football comes easy to him. His understanding is very high. Doesn't blink. I love his demeanor. You could see why his versatility in college, definitely carries over. So I think he's been an excellent fit for us.
Mike, with Dunker moving to guard in college, how's that transition been? And is that something that takes a while for a young guy?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think once you get started, once again we've had 2 days on the field in helmets, so same deal. The vertical sets and some of the things we do are a tad different than maybe he's done in the past. It's for all those guys, but I don't want to be redundant here, but he's made a very good first impression.
Navy's offense is unique. How's Eli picked up some of the different concepts that you guys have?
Yeah, he's picked it up. Bright, obviously, obviously has an excellent skill set, and we can see the quickness that just jumps off the field at you. But yeah, he seemed very comfortable out there.
What are some of the things you're looking for in these settings from these players players? Is there anything specific you want to see, especially like on the football field? What can they do?
Yeah, definitely. Exactly what I told them as part of the expectation. I wanted to see them meet the mental and emotional challenge. Taking an installation from the time they got here Thursday night. So everybody met individually Thursday night, come in, and we put them on the exact same schedule that our vets are on. So get 2 days of flow of how they're going to train, the expectation of what exactly they need to do when they come back here Monday, and then really, we stressed them mentally. And the emotional challenge was to try to see them, line up and play with the speed in the pre-snap and get the first part. And I thought they did. I thought they did a really good job. And comparing to other teams that have put this practice type schedule through. So, but like I said, that was a very, very good first impression. As both the offense and defense.
Drew talked a lot about footwork and the hierarchy of what makes a good quarterback, or what allows a quarterback to reach his full potential is footwork. Where does that, is that one of the, like a priority of yours when you're, developing a quarterback, or where does that kind of?
Well, I'm not sure what you're asking me. You say priority.
Well, is footwork, unlocking good footwork, is that a key to?
Yeah, I think it makes a difference, and it gives you the ability to play faster. Gives you the ability to transition in and out of the challenges that occur, throughout quarterback play. What we're teaching him is different than the way he's played before. He hasn't spent a lot of time under center. He was a run and shoot guy in high school. He's played from 9 yards deep. So, there's just a lot of newness to him. But, it's just like anything. When you see the response from Friday's practice, talk about it Saturday morning, and then for him to go out there and do it today, that's encouraging. It's frankly, it's really the same types of stuff that we went through with Will, 4 weeks ago. So, these are two young guys that have a lot of football in front of them, got a lot of work to do. But gosh, they're definitely wired the right way, and they bring an excellent, physical skill set.
Is this a special feeling for you as a coach? You've coached a lot of veteran quarterbacks, but Drew is kind of like a guy that you're getting first day. He's a guy that you can mold from start to finish. Is there a special feel for how you approach him as a quarterback versus other guys you coach?
Well, I love the whole process. It gives me, unbelievable joy to work with Tom Arth every day. I had to dig out the beta camp tapes from 2006, just to, from our time together. And so that's been a lot of fun for me. But yes, I love the young guys, especially when you get them when they're just starting out. So, I've always enjoyed the development of the quarterback position, and I've been so blessed to be around so many great veterans that I learned from. So I don't know if you probably can't tell by the way I look, but I didn't play quarterback. So, but it's something I really enjoy.
How helpful is it to have this one-on-one time? You mentioned you worked with Will a couple weeks ago, and now to have Drew, just to be able to hone in on each one individually when you're developing two younger quarterbacks.
It's really good to have the one-on-one time in the classroom and the walkthroughs, but having Will and Mason together is very beneficial when you go through it with another quarterback. And frankly, the quarterback school system of drills, the ideal is to have 3 guys. So it'll be great to have all 3 of those guys, because there's just a lot. There's a tempo to it. In the quarterback room, the relationship of the quarterbacks in that room, that's important. They spend a lot of time together, so we have a lot of fundamental conversations that we need to get started. But I think for a rookie to get the attention that he received since Thursday has been outstanding. But I'm really looking forward to getting him in the room with Will and Mason.
While you can't do things the same way as you did with the quarterback school before, how many of those same elements or philosophies are still going to be part of the development of these two young quarterbacks?
They're all there. It's all the same. It's just the time. It's the time that you have with these guys here at the facility. So and this has been going on for a decade. You have to have the relationship, the communication with your quarterbacks as they work away from here, and I think that's just today's NFL. So most of these guys have people they work with outside of the team that they play for externally. Some of these guys have started back in high school, so just have an understanding of who they're working with and with the expectations of how we do it, and I've never come across any quarterback coach or quarterback developer outside of any organization I work with that wasn't cooperative and collaborative and doing what's best for the individual quarterback.
Guys, a few more.
Going to be putting everyone together here in the coming days. What's going to be the biggest point of emphasis for you for the first couple of days of OTAs here?
Well, we got one more week before we go to the OTAs, so we really want to finish. We call it concept teach. We've laid out the concepts. Throughout all. I talk about 5 playbooks that we want to install before we leave here on June 12th. So the offense, defense, special teams, and obviously game management is a big one. So, and also we've called a playbook of fundamentals. So just to get everything taught, the language, we want to accomplish that by June 12th, because when we get to Latrobe is when we really get to play football.
Two more.
Mike, you just said that 3 quarterbacks is ideal for your quarterback school system. It wouldn't be a press conference if we didn't ask you about Aaron Rodgers. Is there any update on the possibility of adding a 4th to that before you guys come back before May 18th?
I mean, 3 quarterbacks is the normal. 4 would be awesome.
Max,
Last one.
Mike, you didn't want to bring in another quarterback, or you wanted to just, I mean, for right now, did you just want to have Drew do all the work?
We did, and we pushed it. I don't know how much you paid attention to to go 35 snaps in a team drill. That's pushing it, but he handled it. We kind of gauged it yesterday to see how we'd work through it, and he's a big part of it. Everybody else knowing their assignments, and defense getting their communication. It was important for us offensively to really push the envelope in the pre-snap component of it, to make sure the defense is seeing the 4 or 5 different personnel groups and those types of things, because that's what defense needs. They need the formations, they need the motions, they need the communication, they need to make the adjustments. So I felt really good about that, and if your quarterback can't handle it, then you don't get to go to the speed and the tempo and the pre-snap that we were able to go. So, and I thought Drew did a hell of a job.
All right, thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
We'll have